Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman, and this is some sad news today, especially for me. Yeah, this is big news in the world of Formula One today. It's the first time I've ever sort of done a video like this. I've got literally nothing prepared. This is breaking news as of about an hour or so ago. But yeah, Sebastian Vettel will retire from Formula One at the end of the season. And I am absolutely gutted. I am gutted. But yeah, welcome in, Tax. I don't really know what to say. I thought if I don't come live for this kind of a news, I'm never going to come live for any kind of news, because this is one of the biggest pieces of news this season, and I thought I've got to come on and have a chat about the career of one of the greatest of all time, you know, one of the greats of this sport, Sebastian Vettel. And I didn't expect him to retire at the end of this season. I thought he'd go on for another 2 or 3 years. I thought he was just sort of getting it together at Aston Martin. Things were improving, and I honestly thought he'd do another 2 or 3 years. He's only 35 years old, so he's not that old. You know, Lewis is a couple of years older. Alonso's 40, still going. So at 35, I feel like he still had more to give. But he has obviously made that decision to retire at the end of the season, and I am. It's a weird one for me, right? Because he was when back in the day when Sebastian. I wouldn't say so, Justin. I think it's a one-way ticket. I don't think Sebastian will come out of retirement. You know, I know a couple of drivers have, you know, they retire and then they come back a couple of years later or whatever. But no, I think Sebastian, he'll do other things. You know, I think he'll do some environmental stuff. It won't be the last we'll hear of him. Maybe he'll come back, do a bit of punditry work, stuff like that. But I can see him doing some environmental work and sort of save the planet kind of a mode that he'll go on now. But I'm gutted because, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, for me, when Sebastian was dominating, and listen, Sebastian Vettel dominated Formula One 12 years ago. You know, a decade ago, Sebastian Vettel was Formula One. 4 championships in a row from 2010 to 2013. You know, he's one of the biggest talents that there's ever been in this sport. A lot of people overlook him these days. A lot of new fans won't get it because they're seeing him in an Aston Martin that's well off the pace, finishing 16th, finishing 12th and stuff like that, and they'll just think he's just another name. That used to be something. But listen, Sebastian is one of the greats of this sport. He's 3rd in the all-time Grand Prix wins. I think he's got 53 wins, something like that. I'm gonna have a look on the Wikipedia in a bit and just go through his career a little bit. But yeah, he sits 3rd on the all-time list of wins. He's the youngest driver ever to win the Formula One World Championship as well. As an Aussie, what I know about him is a multi-21. Yeah, that was a bit controversy back in, 2012? Around then. But yeah, for me, it's weird because I've seen every single race that Sebastian Vettel has competed in Formula One. You know, he started in 2006. And that's when I was really getting, like, into a serious fan. Like, I'd seen it before that, like, when I was a kid and that, and in the early 2000s and stuff. But when it got to about 2005, when Fernando Alonso in the Renault started beating Michael Schumacher, that's when my ears pricked up and I went, oh, you know what, this Schumacher, the greatest of all time, he's being beaten here by a young kid. And then that's when I sort of got into it. And by 2006... I was watching every race, and I remember his debut. I think his debut was in America. I think his debut was in Indianapolis at the US Grand Prix for BMW Sauber. I might be wrong on that, but that's just I think I might be right on that. In 2006, then obviously went to Toro Rosso. He was part of the Red Bull Junior program. Went to Toro Rosso in 2007 and 8, and won the Italian Grand Prix. That's what really put Sebastian on the map. Is he won the 2008 Italian Grand Prix in a Toro Rosso? You know, it's equivalent. I mean, today's equivalent would be like, I don't know, Alonso winning in an Alpine, you know, winning the race, or you know, some midfield runner that's just pulling a mad one out of the bag, getting pole position and winning the race. It was a real upset. I think it's Toro Rosso. Well, they've become AlphaTauri. Oh no, they've won another. Gasly's won a race for him since. But yeah, third of all time. Yeah, Justin. Third in the all-time list of wins. You've got Hamilton on 103, Michael Schumacher 91, and Sebastian Vettel third on the list with 53, I think. And then Alan Prost's got 51 wins, I think. Prost in fourth. And then it's very close behind them. But yeah, Hamilton and Schumacher in a league of their own on 100. But yeah. So Vettel really burst onto the scene in 2006, Toro Rosso 2007, and then wins the Italian Grand Prix in 2008. And on the back of that, gets the promotion, as he rightly deserved, into the full Red Bull racing team, the full fat Red Bull racing team in 2009, alongside Mark Webber. And that's when he he won the Chinese Grand Prix in 2009 in the wet. I remember that was his first win for Red Bull, and it was a great drive, and you just knew from that when he won the Chinese Grand Prix in 2009. That was at that point when Brawn had come in. They were dominating. Button was winning every race, but Vettel was his nearest challenger in 2009. You know, Vettel was the one taking wins off Button, taking wins off Brawn. You know, he turned up on the scene. He must have only been about 23. And yeah, 100 wins is mad, isn't it? Yeah, Lewis is in a different league. Yeah. Schumacher 91, Hamilton 103 and counting, you know. He might get to 110, you know, if he stays next year and Mercedes pick it up. But yeah. It's mad because to me it's the drivers that I was watching that were young kids on the scene when I started watching 2006, 2007, and now at the end of it, Kimi's gone, you know, Alonso's 40, Hamilton's 37, you know, these are the last names left from that era of 2006, 7, you know, Massa's long gone, Button's long gone, all the rest of them really. From 2007, I think they're the only ones on the grid. Is Hamilton and Alonso now. Vettel is that generation. Raikkonen's gone, and it's weird for me because I've seen him come from a 22-year-old kid winning the Italian Grand Prix for Toro Rosso, and now all the way through his Red Bull years. You know, I got as far as 2009 then, just talking. He was Jenson Button's closest challenger in 2009. Then 2010 to 13 were the Sebastian Vettel years. You know, Alonso come close a couple of times. You know, Alonso should have been world champion in 2010 and 2012, but Vettel took them both. And Vettel won dramatically the 2010 World Championship. Unbelievable Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And it's a weird one. Vettel didn't actually lead the 2010 World Championship until the very last lap, until he crossed the line on the final race. That was the first time he led the World Championship and won the World Championship. So what a way to win it in 2010. In fact, 2010 was really Alonso versus Webber. Hamilton had a bit of a shout. and Vettel was in the background. Hamilton and Vettel were like outsiders, but really 2010 was Alonso v Webber, and then out of nowhere, I think Vettel won. I mean, it's 12, 13 years ago. I can't remember exactly how it was, but Vettel was on like a late charge, and I'm sure he won like, I don't know, 3 out of the last 5 races or 4 out of the last 5 races, and come through right at the end, won Abu Dhabi. And not only did he need to win in Abu Dhabi to win his first World Championship, but he needed Alonso and Webber to be like not on the podium, and neither of them were. I think they were like 7th and 8th or 6th and 7th, and so that gave Vettel the championship because Alonso and Webber were on a bad strategy. And they got stuck behind slower cars. They got stuck behind Petrov in the Renault and stuff. And they were busy watching each other. And Vettel, on a better strategy, won the race and won the championship. And and that remains the youngest driver to win the Formula One World Championship. Welcome in, Drac. Bit of a different stream today. Just talking about Sebastian Vettel, obviously announcing his retirement. But what a way to win, Justin. Yeah, it was mega. It was mega, honestly, that first World Championship. And then once he'd won that in Abu Dhabi in dramatic style, winning the race, winning the championship, then he just went on a roll then. And literally, 11, 12, 13 were Vettel years. Alonso had a good go. Don't get me wrong. Alonso had a good go, especially in 2012. That was a fantastic championship. It's probably the best one I've seen. Last year's was pretty good with Hamilton versus Verstappen, because that had the needle to it. So last year was a classic. But I think really the best World Championship as a whole. I mean, the best rivalry was the Hamilton v Verstappen last year, but the best World Championship season I've probably watched is 2012, just because there was 7 different winners in the first 7 races of that year. So can you imagine that this year? Imagine like Sainz winning, then the next week Leclerc winning, then the next week Hamilton winning, then the next week Perez winning, then the next week Verstappen winning, then the next week Alonso winning, then the next week Russell winning. That's what 2012 was like. It was crazy, and those were the Vettel prime years. People, especially new fans, they don't realise that Sebastian Vettel had a dominant era, where he was by far the best driver in the world. And there used to be a thing where he used to have a reputation where he put it on pole position on the Saturday and it'd be pretty much that'd be it. You pretty much know that Vettel was going to dominate the race and win on the Sunday. At back end of 2013, when he was absolutely unbeatable, I think he'd won. I think after the summer break, there was 10 races in the 2013 season after summer break. So from August onwards, he won all 10. He won all 10. I think Vettel won the championship with about 5 races to go in 2013. It was domination. I think a weird one actually. He won the championship in India. I don't think they raced at India more than 2 or 3 years. 2012 was a wild one, Justin. 2012 was next level. Probably the best championship I've ever seen. 2012. But yeah, those were the Vettel prime years. And then what happened was, in 2014, the rules changed massively. It was a brand new formula with the engines. Well, everything changed from 2013 to 2014 was a massive reset in Formula One. Really the biggest I've seen, actually. The biggest, a real paradigm shift in Formula One. They went from V8 engines to V6 turbos. All the aerodynamic rules changed. 2014 was a complete reset, and that's when Mercedes arrived big time on the scene, and Lewis, and they took over from 2014 onwards, and that was it. And it's a weird one, right? Because Vettel, towards the back end of 2013, I think he said on the team radio, because he was winning every single race for like 2-3 years, he was winning, That's all his 50. Basically, probably 40 of his 53 wins have come in those 4 seasons. So you know, he's winning like 10 races a year for 3 or 4 years. Like it was domination. And he said at the back end of 2013 on the team radio, I remember it now, he said, let's enjoy these days because they don't last forever. Let's enjoy these times because they don't last forever. And sure enough, 2014 come with the new engines and new rules and new aerodynamics, and sure enough, you know, the time moved on, and it went to Hamilton mode, it went to Mercedes mode. And then on the back of that, you know, Vettel struggled in 2014 against Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo new on the scene in 2014. Well, pretty new. He was the next big thing. Daniel Ricciardo in 2014 joins Red Bull, and beat Vettel. You know, Vettel struggled in 2014, and on the back of that, Vettel decided it is now time for me, as a 4-time world champion, it is now time for me to join the mighty Ferrari. You know, his hero was Michael Schumacher. You know, obviously another German, and obviously Schumacher winning all those championships with Ferrari. It was always Vettel's dream to join Ferrari, and in 2015 he did that. Left the Red Bull family after. In fact, I remember when that got announced. That I remember it was Saturday practice in Suzuka. You know, that weekend overshadowed by a horrendous accident. I remember the Sebastian Vettel to Ferrari news dropping, and that was the biggest news I'd ever seen to that point. No, it was the biggest driver transfer, put it that way. It was the biggest driver transfer that I'd ever seen in Formula 1 when Vettel went from Red Bull to Ferrari. That was massive. It's like it'd be like Hamilton going from Mercedes to Ferrari, or it'd be like Verstappen going from Red Bull to Mercedes or something. It was absolutely massive news. I remember that dropping. And he did get to drive the Scarlet Ferrari. Obviously it didn't go how he'd wanted. It didn't go in the Michael Schumacher way where he was winning championships. He had a couple of good fights for the championship, but Mercedes were just dominant. It was the Mercedes dominance era, from you know, is the Mercedes hybrid era that ran from 2014 to like now. You know, the Mercedes domination is just been clipped by Verstappen in the last 18 months. But before that, you know, it's been 7 or 8 years where Mercedes are just dominating the scene. And Ferrari and Sebastian Vettel tried, you know, they really tried to take on the might of Hamilton in his absolute peak, and Mercedes in absolute dominance. And they come close. You know, I think 2017... they come quite close. A couple of incidents, a couple of bad strategies. You know, Ferrari never quite got it together for Vettel. You know, a couple of mistakes here and there from Vettel's side, a couple of strategic errors, a couple of unforced errors from the Ferrari side, and never quite got that championship for Ferrari. You know, and the years go by, and Hamilton's winning another championship, another championship, another championship. And the years go by for Sebastian at Ferrari, and he wins a few races. You know, he won a good few races, and then your next man turns up, Charles Leclerc, and changes the game for Ferrari. And all of a sudden, Charles Leclerc turns up in 2019, I think. You know, Leclerc turns up on the scene, and he's the next kid. You know, time moves. You know, what's the saying? Time stops for no man. And Charles Leclerc turned up at Ferrari 2019, and straight away the focus shifted. You know, Sebastian, the old veteran now, he would have been like 33, and then Charlie Boy arrived, and all the focus went on Leclerc, and that was it. And you could sort of see Vettel's time at Ferrari was up. You know, he'd had 5 or 6 years. Well, probably what 5, 6, maybe 7 years at Ferrari. What 20, what 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You know, 16 years. 6 years at Ferrari. Didn't quite come off for him. He had a couple of great victories. You know, I think he won the Italian Grand Prix one of those years. You know, to win the Italian Grand Prix for Ferrari. I think he did that. I think he did that in like 17 or 18. Did Vettel. So yeah, he had good days, but never quite got that championship. Then Leclerc turns up, and you just knew there was a bit of Vettel and Leclerc came together on a few occasions. You know, a few little bits of contact here and there. And then he decides to leave. Then what happened is it was a bit of a mad one because the pandemic hit, and then there was the first half of 2020 was virtually cancelled. They didn't have a race in 2020 till like June, and so the first half of 2020 was like postponed. And during that time, that's when Vettel was there was talk about him retiring then, but you know, it was like, is he going to stay at Ferrari? What's he going to do? And it was during all that lockdown and all the rest of it, when there was no racing on, they announced that he was joining Aston Martin, and that's obviously where he spent the last 2 years. I can't believe it. Yeah, thumbs up, Keith. Yeah, man. Thumbs up for this one. I mean, it's not a thumbs up from me, this news. You know, I am, no joke, I am absolutely gutted. I am gutted. But yeah, just done a little round off his career, what I can remember from the top of my head. You know, which isn't bad. You know, I haven't prepared anything for this. I didn't expect it. I thought Vettel would do another couple of years, like I said at the beginning when I first come on. And it's really taken me by surprise. And it's sort of like it's a bit of a moment where I realise that this era is coming to an end. The era that when I started watching, like 2006, those drivers are retiring now. You know, I've seen every single Grand Prix that Sebastian Vettel's raced in, and now that's it. He's at the end. He's got 10 more to go, and that's it. He's gone, and it's like wow, this generation's over. You know, Lewis is 37. You know, maybe he'll do one more year. I think Lewis will do one more year, maybe more. But if I was to bet on it, I'd say Lewis will do one more year next year. You know, and then they're gone. You know, and then how long's Alonso gonna go? Who knows? But then it really is. It's Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell, Norris. You know, a couple of others. And the generation that I watched as a teenager and in my early 20s, they're going, and it's just a mad. You know, Vettel's one of the good guys. It's weird because when Vettel was always the enemy for me back in the day, back in like 2010, 11, 12, because way back when, well, for me, way back when, like 12, 14 years ago, I was a big Alonso fan. Alonso in the Ferrari, and Hamilton as well. I was a Hamilton fan as well. You know, the British. You know, but I was really Hamilton and Alonso back then. These days I'm neutral. You know, I love Mick Schumacher. You know, I love Mick Schumacher, but on the whole, I'm neutral. Like, I don't mind Hamilton or Verstappen. Like, I know people tie the mast to one, especially last year. People tie the mast to one or the other, and they hate the other. You know, or love Hamilton, hate Verstappen, or love Verstappen, hate Hamilton. Nah, mate, I love the drama of it. Let them fight it out. I loved it. I was fully neutral, and I thought it was brilliant last year. So yeah, but back then when I was younger, I was big Alonso fan, big Hamilton fan, and so Vettel was always you've got to beat Vettel, you know. But then as I've matured with my views of it, and as I developed as a fan, I've really come to respect Vettel a a lot and respect what he did in his Red Bull days, and he's one of the good guys. Like, how can you do, like, nobody dislikes Sebastian Vettel. Like, he's literally one of the best guys out there. He was incredible. I think he still is. It is out of nowhere, SHT. It is out of nowhere. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. Mate, yeah. Going down the Kemmel Straight. What year was that? Like 18 or something? Going down the Kemmel Straight, passing Hamilton for the lead. It might have been 18 or something. 17 maybe. But yeah, that's an iconic bit of... I know, I can't believe it. He joined Instagram, and people were joking, weren't they, on Twitter People were joking on Twitter saying, oh, this means retirement. But it actually did mean retirement, like, because he said he didn't want to join social media whilst he was in Formula One. That should have been, you know, and as soon as he did, next day, boom, announces retirement. It's weird because I'm actually shocked. Like, I knew he was getting towards the end of it, but I thought he'd definitely do next season. I mean, it's crazy. This will make the driver market very interesting. Yeah, you know, I respect that people are gonna the next question is who's gonna replace him, but I'm not talking about that right now. I've got to just respect Sebastian Vettel's amazing, incredible career in Formula One, and a driver that I've watched for the past 17 years. And you know, eventually in a few weeks, a few months, it'll be, you know, who's going to replace him and all that. But right now, today, when this news is raw and it's fresh, I ain't talking about that, you know. Those conversations will come. But, nah, Hulkenberg, I don't think so. I don't think Hulkenberg. Nah, it's not an exciting signing, that. Nah, not Hulkenberg. It's mad. I mean, what to say other than what an incredible career. I've seen every race of it. I've seen the domination years, the Ferrari years, the struggling years, the last 2 or 3 where he struggled a bit. And you know what, I was thinking, like, he's starting to come good this year. You know, he started to get in the points. Like, when I do the little rundown before, you know, the little previews that I do, you know, I'm sitting here saying, oh, he's starting to come good now. P6 here, P8 there, P9 there. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know, Vettel's not done yet. Because at the beginning of the season, you're probably thinking he's winding it down. But the last half dozen races, I'm there thinking he's still got it. Seb's still got it, man. Vettel's still there. And but obviously, you know, he's got other things that he wants to do in his life as well. Like, Sebastian will do a lot now, environmentally and, you know, environmental awareness stuff. You know, he was on Question Time, wasn't he, a couple of months ago, and talking about, you know, pollution and all the rest of it. And they said to Vettel, who was on the panel of BBC Question Time, a politics show, if you don't know what that is, the politics show on in the UK, and he was on the panel, and you know, they sort of asked him, aren't you a bit of a contradiction, like, campaigning for, like, environmental stuff, yet you're flying around the world and driving 1,000 horsepower cars? And he was like, yeah, I am. He was like, yeah, I am a hypocrite. And maybe that's another thing that's playing on his mind, thinking he's campaigning for like go green kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's a small percentage of it. You know, maybe he feels he's given all he can give. You know, he's 35. I mean, some of them go on to 40 years old. You know, Raikkonen I think Raikkonen was 41. Alonso's 40, so he's not too old for it. but maybe he just fancies it's time for a change. Maybe he'll go to another category. You know, maybe we'll see him in rally, or who knows? Who knows? I can't see him doing like a full-time series. Like, right now I'm going to go World Endurance Championship and do a full. Maybe not like that, but you might see him do a few cameos, like maybe an odd a rally event or a rallycross event, or maybe you come back and be a bit of a pundit, or who knows. But I am actually shocked by this. Welcome in, Farhan. This'll make you. I didn't expect to be announced before the summer break. I didn't expect it to be announced this season. It's proper caught me off guard. Alonso 41 tomorrow, is it? Alonso 41 tomorrow, still going strong. You know, you can still beat Ocon on his day. You know, Ocon's a good driver, and Alonso still got it at 41, man. So it's not like Vettel, oh, he's too old for it, give it up, sort of thing. I think he still had a couple of years in him. But madness. Well, I didn't think I could talk about it for half an hour, but I have done. Just mad. Once they open a can of worms, once they open it on Formula One, you know, I can just waffle on about it, especially when it's Sebastian Vettel. You know, it's not like it's a guy that's been here for 2 or 3 years, is it? You know, he's had 17, probably, getting on like 17 years in the sport, and only 10 more races to go for him. 10 or 11. What's the next one? Round 13 of 22. So yeah, like 10 races to go for Sebastian Vettel. I think Vettel's already getting annoyed with Aston Martin not being able to compete at the front in frequent points as well. That's a factor. It's got to be a factor. You know, does he really want to carry on? You know, maybe Aston Martin will improve next year. I'm sure they will, but he probably knows he's not going to be at the front again. You know, he's not going to be adding more wins to the tally, put it that way. I think last year he had a couple of second place finishes though, you know, for Aston Martin. I think one in Baku and another somewhere, I can't quite remember, but I'm sure he had a couple of second place finishes last year, so that probably spurred him on and thought, right, you know what, Aston Martin isn't a bad thing. You know, maybe we can be at the front this year. You know, maybe this would have really invigorated him if Aston Martin were on it this year, and that maybe would have extended his career another 2 or 3 years. But the fact that Aston Martin have taken a massive step backwards is probably a bit of a factor as well. Did say, yeah, I would want to compete at the front, not being at the back or midfield. Exactly. Yeah, Hungary second. That's it. Oh, did he get stripped? Oh, brutal. That's it, yeah, when Ocon won, Vettel chased him down the whole way, didn't he, in Hungary? That's right. Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that one. Yeah, when Ocon won, it was Ocon versus Vettel for the win. That was a madness. Did he get stripped from him, that? I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, that proved that he still got it. And even a few weeks ago, I think he was like 6th. He was 5th or 6th in Azerbaijan, and he's had a couple of good results since then. You know, getting in the points, back end of the points, you know, but getting in the points, 9th, 8th, and stuff. And then this, you know, then he joins Instagram, and everyone's like, whoa, yeah, everyone's absolutely buzzing on F1 Twitter, going, you know, Vettel's joined Instagram, Vettel's joined social media, and there was 1 or 2 people going, oh, this is not necessarily a good thing. People were even joking, oh, this means retirement, you know, and sure enough, you know, 12 hours later, boom, his first post is like 2 pictures of him going, and this, and hereby, therefore, bang, I announced my retirement for Formula One. I just couldn't believe that when I saw it a couple of hours ago. I was like, I'm gutted. It's just hit me like a brick wall. I can't believe it. Yeah, 2nd in Baku, 5th in Monaco last year. Yeah, welcome to the stream, Jerry. But I'm just about going to wrap it up now. I don't really know I don't really know. I've gone through his career a little bit, the things that I can remember. But yeah, drove for Sauber, Toro Rosso, Red Bull, Ferrari, and Aston Martin. You know, so he's had a full career. You know, he's lived the dream. He's won those championships. He got to live the dream of driving the Scarlet Red Ferrari. It didn't quite pan out in the ultimate way of winning championships for Ferrari, but you know, he's done it all. He's done it all. Well, Anto, we get into that in the next few weeks. But right now, I don't think it's appropriate to sort of be talking about, right, he's retired, right, who's going to replace him? I don't think that's quite the vibe I'm going to go for today. But obviously that conversation will be had, and it will make it interesting going into next season, because that empty seat could then trigger, you know, someone could move. Let's say Ricciardo goes to Aston Martin, McLaren seat available, and it could create a bit of a merry-go-round. But that's for another day. Yeah, last win was in Singapore. He's always been a beast in Singapore, and I hope he can do something special this year. You know, he ain't gonna win, but yeah, respect Jerry. Yeah, he's, you know, but it's just come as a big shock to me, and you know, I've got a massive amount of respect for Sebastian Vettel and everything that he's done. And yeah, it's just weird because he's sort of come full circle for me, because he was sort of the enemy in like 2010. You know, I was a big Alonso fan, you know, and it was Alonso versus Vettel, and I was always like, oh damn it, but Sebastian Vettel winning again. I was like, oh damn it, you know. And then as the years have gone by, I've come to respect him and love him, and now, you know, he's one of my favourite drivers these days. The last like handful of years, you know, he's one of my favourite drivers, and that's it. And this is it. He's going. I'm gutted. Raikkonen last year, who'd have had that? You know, Raikkonen and Vettel both gone within 2 years, and it could be Lewis next year. You know, to be honest, I think Lewis will do one more year. You know, this generation, how long is Alonso gonna go? Maybe Alonso do one more year. Maybe Alonso will have to be pushed before he jumps. You know, maybe Alpine will have to say to him, listen, yeah, you still got it, you're 43, but listen, we need to look to the future, Fernando. I feel like Fernando will race to his 50 if he could. You know, Fernando might have to be pushed. But, yeah, man. Anyway, I think that's about it, innit? I still remember the time when Button retires from F1. Mate, yeah. Massa, it was a weird one, Massa, wasn't it? Because he announced his retirement and then come back the following year, didn't he? And then retired again. Massa had 2 retirements, I'm sure. Yeah, Massa with the double retirement. Alonso's like a madman with his current age. Yeah, he is a motorsport madman, isn't he? Fernando Alonso, never mind me. I'm just here talking about it. But yeah, big news. I don't know how many other videos I'll do like this when F1 news comes out. I suppose just when it's really big news, it's worth coming live and having a chat. If it's like, you know, Alpine to bring new front wing to Hungarian Grand Prix, you know, I'm probably not going to come live for that, for the smaller news. But when it's something as big as this, yeah, you know, I'll jump on and have a bit of a chat, and hopefully over the coming months and over the coming years, we build a bit of a community and we have a lot of F1 fans in, and we can all talk about it. This is it, yeah, this is it, SHC. Massa initially retired in 2016. Yes, that's right. Because Rosberg retired. See, I'm glad I can bounce off you, because as you're saying that, I'm like, it all unfolds, and I go, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Massa retired in 2016. But Rosberg's shock announcement, yeah, because Rosberg won the championship and next day retired, like out of nowhere. That was the most out of nowhere retirement, the Nico Rosberg one. And then, yeah, so then Bottas, then Mercedes got Bottas, that's it. So Williams had to phone up Massa and go, I know you've just announced you're retiring, but shit's hit the fan and we need you back. And so he come back for 17, didn't he? He did one more year. Yeah, he had no more good options, and obviously Massa was a veteran, and they knew he was a steady pair of hands. And yeah, so he come out of retirement for a year, didn't he? Yeah, mad. Because he had Lance Stroll, yeah, Massa and Stroll. Man, Stroll got a podium in Azerbaijan, you know. Stroll's always been a bit underrated as far as I'm concerned, because he's got money behind him. People think he's automatically crap. But what if he's got money and talent? Didn't think of that. No, but anyway, that's about it. We've gone 40 minutes on Sebastian Vettel. And yeah, 10 more races to go, and he's gone. I can't. Genuinely, it has shook me. I can't believe it, because it is the generation that I've watched for 15 years coming to an end. And time moves on, and now we've got Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Norris to take us into the future. But yeah, I don't know, we've got the thing. Yeah, 9 or 10 more races to go, and that'll be it for Sebastian Vettel's Formula One career. Can't believe I'm saying that now. Thought he'd do another 2-3 years. Oh, he's one of the good guys as well, and especially in the last couple of years. Like, he's one of the. Oh mate, it's just mad. It is literally mad. I don't know what else to say. I'm absolutely gutted. I think it's 2-3 years too soon. Be honest with you, I think it's 2-3 years too soon. But you know, there's probably a lot of factors involved. Like we've gone through, you know, the Aston Martin's not really up to speed. You know, he probably wants to do more awareness stuff about the environment and this, that and the other. He probably wants to do other things. And yeah, crazy news. Crazy news to me, that. And that's about it, guys. I'll be on later on. I'll be on at 7 o'clock for a bit of career mode, doing the Zandvoort Dutch Grand Prix on the F1 22 career mode. I'll be live at 7 PM for that. I'll try not to be last, but you know that's a difficult that's a difficult proposition. I don't think Zandvoort I'm particularly strong, so it might be a struggle in the Williams. But yeah, join me for that. And then, of course, tomorrow we get back to the real stuff. We get back to the real content. I'll be live for Friday practice 1 and 2 for the ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. All weekend, you know, I'll be live for pretty much every session. The only session I don't do is FP3 because we've got qualifying like an hour after it. So I sort of saved myself for qualifying on a Saturday. So we do Friday practice 1 and 2 this weekend, then qualifying, and then of course the Hungarian Grand Prix on Sunday. And I'm sure a lot of the conversation will be about this. Sebastian Vettel retiring from Formula One after an illustrious and wonderful career. 4 World Championships, 2010, 2011, 2012 and 2013. Those were the Sebastian Vettel years, and what a career, and I salute him. What a fantastic 3rd in the all-time list of wins on, I think, 53 Grand Prix victories. The youngest ever Formula One world champion at 23 years old. Even Verstappen was older than that when he won it last year. So yeah, What a career. What a career. I've seen every single race of it. What a career. And what a bombshell. But Vettel is going to retire. No, FP3 is the only one I don't do. SHC. FP3 is the only one I do. Because it's got quali an hour later. So that's what I do on a Saturday. Just do the quali. Right, guys. I'm going. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Do drop a like if you have. I know I've been on a bit of a sort of a bit of a downer because it's honestly it's like bad news to me. This is not something that I'm going to be. Yes, let's go. Like this is it's a bit of a moment where I go, wow, we're into the next generation now. You know. The generation that I watched is Vettel's retiring. I remember as a young kid when he's at 21, 22. And that's it. He's going. Right, guys, I'm going. Rambling on now. Right, guys. Yeah, join me 7 PM. Dutch Grand Prix on the F1 game. If you're not into that, be back for the real life stuff from tomorrow afternoon. But yeah. See you later, guys. Thanks for joining. Appreciate everyone that's watched this, and if you watch it on repeat, you know I appreciate everyone that watches it. Appreciate everyone that drops a like, and if you are a Formula One fan, you know, get yourself subscribed. I'm live. The real content is the live watch-alongs, which will be live all weekend for the Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend. Yeah, but yeah, guys, cheers. Massive news. Vettel retiring from Formula One, and I am gutted. See you later, guys. Peace.